Blair Show backstage at the second annual Dime Bash, with all proceeds going to the Ronnie James Dio Stand Up and Shout Cancer Fund. And I'm here with Rudy Sarzo. What do you feel for you is the importance of this event tonight?
Well, we're here to celebrate the life and music of two of rock's most outstanding human beings, Dimebag Darrell, as you know, and Ronnie James Dio. And I had the privilege of playing with Ronnie in Dio. I was the last bass player in Dio from 2004 until the day he passed away. And he was the most magical performer, human being I ever had the pleasure of meeting and working with. And I miss him incredibly. One thing that I learned about him, from him, was to always look for the magic. Because when he left us in this realm, he left a huge hole in my heart. Because I miss his magic. And now every day I live looking for those magical moments that are always there.
Did you ever have a chance to meet Dimebag?
Yes, I did. Way back in the early 90s, I used to do these events for Randy Rhoads, the Randy Rhoads Foundation, for scholarships for UCLA for classical musicians, guitar players. And Dimebag was one of the first people that came down to participate, gave his time and his wonderful guitar playing to the event, and we got to spend time backstage. And as I would tour through Texas with bands such as Quiet Riot, he would come out to our shows and we will hang out.
Now, let's talk a little bit about Randy Rhoads. Now, recently, a lost tape was found of Randy Rhoads and you, the whole band, the whole Diary of a Madman version of the Ozzy Osbourne band, touring. Have you saw the footage?
Oh yeah, I saw it before it was released. Actually, I got the opportunity to sit down with Blasco. He's my neighbor. He lives like 2 houses away from me. So the crew came down and just video us watching the footage. And what's really interesting was that footage was taken about on our 7th show as a band. So we really hadn't gelled. It was like more like 4 individuals up there playing songs. And it was really interesting to watch it because I was like, wow. I went from playing in the Strip around here in the 70s and early 80s, because that was 1981, to all of a sudden I'm playing with Ozzy Osbourne. Arenas and theaters and stadiums and stuff like that. So I had to get it together pretty quickly.
Tell me what that experience, the initial experience of joining the Blizzard of Oz band and going on tour for you.
I got to play with some incredible people, of course, the legendary Ozzy Osbourne and Tommy Aldridge. But it was Randy that really, it was a unique experience for me because I'm the only guy that got to play with him in Quiet Riot and Ozzy. So I got to play with both versions of Randy Rhoads, the local legend, and Randy Rhoads, the legendary, musician that he became known to everybody with Ozzy. So I got to experience the transition, and it was just incredible because by the time he was playing with Ozzy just told him, look, just be the best, be yourself. While we were playing here in Quiet Riot, we were basically pretty much trying to please the record companies, the record industry tried to get a record deal. But with Ozzy, it was a whole different experience. So that's how the real Randy Rhoads came out. And just to see him every day, develop into such an incredible guitar player, composer, performer, human being, that was spectacular. And to watch that video that we're talking about, just to watch him and to hear him play was like, oh my God. As a matter of fact, I was watching it a couple of days ago, and I was floored by his feel, his choice of notes, everything.
I don't think anybody will ever touch his playing and the feeling. I mean, it was true. Randy Rhoads had a beginning, a middle, and an end. Those solos were songs in themselves.
Yeah, there was nobody else like Randy, and he did not try to be anybody else. He tried to be the best Randy Rhoads that he could be.
When you think about Randy, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
His sense of humor. He was we used to hang out a lot during the Ozzy days, and I could always count on him to make me laugh. You know, he had a very, you know, when things used to get tough or I had some doubts about anything about my musicianship or life on the road, he always brought in the bright side. He always made me laugh about it, and just not to take everything too seriously except for music. Always take music seriously. Everything else, it's only rock and roll.
Rudy, you really created a very unique style of bass playing, very aggressive, hitting the neck, playing like this, playing over the top of the neck. Where did that style come from?
Well, you know, I had the luxury of having at least 10 years under my belt playing clubs before anybody saw me nationally. So that's a lot of time playing in bars, experimenting, and thinking outside of the box. You know, the whole thing about hitting the bass, I first saw Tim Bogart with Vanilla Fudge back in the late 60s, and he used to like beat on the bass, but all the strings were open. So it was more like an effect, like a rumble. And I figured, oh, you can do that and make chords, you know, make it musical. So that's what I did. The playing over the neck, I just been bored. Playing clubs like 5-6 sets a night, and sometimes I would think, oh, let me play the whole song in one string, upside down. You know, because it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. You gotta keep it interesting, you know. But what I do is, you know, I look at my role as a musician as another member of a cast of characters that the singer is singing about. Like playing with Ronnie James Dio, it was a perfect example. His lyrics were so cinematic that I would go on a journey in every song, whether it was Men on the Silver Mountain or Heaven and Hell or Gates of Babylon, whatever. It was a movie playing in my head. I was just one of the characters. So what I would do, I would just get lost in the song and just go with it.
The bass that you played when you toured with Ozzy Osbourne was a Music Man, correct?
Yes.
The tone, man, your bass tone was awesome.
Yeah,
especially on, you really hear your tone, because the one album that you recorded with Ozzy that you were on was Speak of the Devil, the live album with Brad Gillis on guitar. Your tone is amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, that's old gear, you know, old Ampeg SVTs and the Music Man. But speaking of old gear, I rediscovered the acoustic amps. I used to play acoustics way back in Florida, and then when I came to LA with Quiet Riot, and I've been watching YouTube video of Quiet Riot with Kevin DeBro and Randy playing like on the Sunset Strip, and I love that sound. And then I realized that it was the acoustic amps, so now I'm using acoustic amps again.
Blairing Out with Eric Blair with Rudy Sarzo signing off.
The Blairing Out Show.